di que goles es lo que ella me pide y nos montamos en este Remy para que el sol lo brille. Te juego fútbol, también te suelto mi fraseo, se me hace fácil cuando suena este perreo, andamos lo que somos, nunca con fariseo.
Parceros, welcome to the Parceros Take, episode 18. Today we'll be talking about the tragedy that happened in Córdoba. We'll be talking about the next steps Colombia has to take. Reinaldo out, what coaches do we want to see in, and what process needs to happen for Colombia to be in the World Cup. Do we still have a chance? I don't know. We're joined today by my parcero in arms, Danny Sandoval. Danny, welcome back.
Parceros.
The wonderful Ingrid Rosas, who's joining us for the consecutive time. ¿Cómo vamos?
Hi, guys.
And a special specimen, a parcero boludo, as you can tell, with his mate in hand, his Argentina jersey, and Maradona and Messi in the back. Nicolas Gonzalez Pirez joining us for the first time. ¿Cómo estamos?
How are you doing, guys? So good. I'm good here.
So, let's get into it. Actually, first, before we get into it, I want to wish Ingrid and Jess, Nico's wife, a happy Women's and Sports Day. Now, we're glad to have Ingrid here on the show, and her analysis is incredibly valuable to us. So, el partido en Córdoba, the game in Córdoba, the tragedy, it was terrible. It's terrible because we called how Colombia was going to come out, and they came out with the formation we wanted. Of course, everyone thought Cuadrado was going to play on the right. We're going to have James in the middle. But we came out defensively. And Danny, how did you see that formation, how we came out in Córdoba? Did we come out to win, or how did you live that?
Before I even say anything about what I think, I'm just going to quote Radamel Falcao Garcia's presser. Big balls by Radamel to face the reporters, come out and, give face to the team. He stated, and I quote, el entrenador. It's kind of weird. Usually when a player refers to the coach, is usually el profe, el profe Rueda, something. But he just says, el entrenador came out to not attack. We wanted to sit back at first and let Argentina come at us. And then once we got in, we assess and we get into the game, then we'll start countering and we'll start going forward little by little. So that's how we came out.
So we came out scared.
Cagao. That already tells me that's not it. From start to finish, erroneous on both counts.
Mm-hmm. Did you think we came out with the right players and the right formation? Do you think James should have played? I know you were critical of James in the previous episode. Do you think he played well? Obviously, he didn't, but what are your thoughts on that?
He did not play well. Again, I stand to what I say. I think that he's either coming to his end and he's not coming back to another World Cup because he's not playing up par, and the whole team isn't. Definitely, they showed they were very scared. From the moment they were singing the national anthem to the first whistle, they touched that ball, and I was like, this is not going to be well. Because whether you have a formation, you can have the best formation, and you think it might fit. But if your players are not playing a par, that's it. That game is over. And that's what they showed. They were not concise. They were not talking to each other. The communication was not even there. Argentina was playing pretty much like a tour game. Like, let's take this team to show to through Argentina what they can play with this B team. It's like the United States taking a B team to the Gold Cup. That's what I saw. The amount of goals that Argentina had compared to Colombia was outstanding. It shouldn't even been 1-0. It should have been 10-0 at this point. And that's very upsetting.
Huge.
He is MVP. And that's strange to me because you would think that he's not as good as Ospina, but if it wasn't for him, we would have been in the worst game ever. I'm surprised it was 1-0. But I was watching Asprilla talk, and he said that he feels that one of the situations is that these players are not communicating to the coach that they feel uncomfortable where they're being placed. And he's 100%. Or he also said, let's put them all together or as a team. Okay, if el profe is not working out for us, let's figure it out as a team. Let's go out there with what we know all together. and they look like they're like a writer. They have a writer's block. They're not playing like they play in their teams every weekend, and that's also a problem.
They look.
It's
They
not
look
like we
very
don't.
passive.
Yeah, they look scared. They look like they've never played soccer, or at least this is their first like World Cup qualifiers. Like, no, you guys have done this before, and they look
experience.
bad. They look like they've never played a game in their life, and it's very sad to see that. Like, they either need to wake up. I think it's not only the coach's fault. I think it's also the players who are not putting that like 110%. They're not sweating that jersey.
Nico, in the preview to the match, I thought it was going to be a great match because obviously Colombia needed the 3 points, and Argentina playing at home in Córdoba has the obligation to see the match, being the home team and being Argentina, right? Yeah. Did you think Colombia was going to come out to seek the 3 points? Do you think were you surprised by this low block or attempt at a low block that Colombia was playing?
Look, I was texting with I think with Danny and Feli Cardenas during the game, and I couldn't believe what I see. Like, they were playing like if they first in the table, like in the standings, and I don't know what time they realized they are gonna be outside. They're not gonna qualify to the World Cup. So the game started like the first 10 minutes. Argentina have the ball all the time. They keep the ball. Colombia don't pass the midfield. Like, they don't press. They don't want the ball. Like, I don't know what the coach was thinking before the game, but a team like Argentina already being qualified, testing player, because Argentina was testing player. The two center backs, they weren't the started one. Molina wasn't playing on the right side. Only Acuna was the starter in that defensive line. In the middle, you only have Lo Celso, because we have some other players who wasn't available to play. We don't have Messi. We don't have Di Maria only plays 55 minutes. For real, I think Colombia needs to start thinking about in a rebuild, clean some names on it, like Argentina had to do the last 5 years with Scaloni. He started a new era with that, and I think Colombia is going to start to do that.
Do you think Colombia has enough talent to fight against Argentina, say in the last match? Do you think? I mean, we've seen in previous matches they've been pretty even, Colombia and Argentina, saying Copa America 2019, and then
that's what I've been so
surprised.
That's what I've been so surprised, because with the names Colombia has, they should start thinking about attack. Colombia is not strong in defense. Like, I don't know if maybe I'm wrong, but that's my actual lecture of the Colombia team. Like, they are not good in defense. Like, his strongest is half of the field forward, like with the strikers, with the midfielders, wide players. They always
having the ball at the feet, moving the ball around.
In the Copa America, Argentina was struggling with that, because Colombia go forward with 4 players in offensive positions all the time, like both wide players and Borja in the middle, Muriel or Dugan Zapata. In this case, they don't have it, but you are playing for qualify to a World Cup. Like, the national teams play for that. They don't play to go to the Copa America. They don't play to go to the CONCACAF. They play to go to the World Cup. And Colombia shows like they don't want to go or something like that. Like, what's real? I was really surprised when the game started.
I think Falcao, like I go back to what Falcao said, and I think especially I said it earlier. It surprised me, because during the first 30 minutes, I saw 3 drawings, 3 formations. I saw a 4-3-3 to start out. They switched to a 4-5-1, and then they went back to the 4-2. That shows me, and what does that tell you? There's no clear plan. There's no ideas. And even then, all defensive. All 3 formations, all 3 drawings were defensive. Not attacking, not trying to go forward, not trying to propose any style of play, not even counterattacking, man. Like you can tell, only 2 will go up. What does that tell you, man? And it's just sad, man. It's the coach's fault.
Argentina finished the game with 3 center backs in the field. Lisandro Martinez was ended the game playing as a center mid contention with Guido Rodriguez.
And I mean, you could see like Argentina's demeanor. They were playing a scrimmage, man. Argentina was scrimmaging.
They were walking at some points, bro. It was crazy how passive they were. I mean, it was incredible that Colombia was even more passive than Argentina because the Argentinians were literally walking passive. Around.
Exactly.
They were like playing casually. Like a little like us playing in the park, basically. They were
una
just
recocha.
Basically,
and even then, as soon as we got the ball in the back, that don't get me wrong, they pressured. I don't think we're able to come out playing not once. There was always somebody, boom, right there tracking.
I really believe Colombia have some players who they can be in the national team.
Like who?
James Rodriguez.
Yeah, bro, just say it.
James Rodriguez, he shouldn't play even a game on this South American qualifier. I'm sorry. I know James Rodriguez.
I'm on the same. I'm in the same boat as you. I think that his time is over, and that's it.
What's gonna happen?
He has no leadership. He has no leadership whatsoever. He has no respect at all. He was running down the line, trying to fill in spaces. I don't know why he thought that was the smartest idea. Like, leave that role to the proper person. But then that's the other issue. Nobody's playing their role correctly. No one's doing what they're supposed to do. Everyone's everywhere. And like you said, there was a change of formation throughout the game. No communication. And if there is a change, nobody knew what was going on. This felt like when Peru scored in Friday's game. What ended up happening, everything was a mess. Everybody's lost their communication. Everybody was playing everywhere. It was just a hot mess. It was so bad, and it's so sad. And I honestly didn't go into that game thinking we were going to win because I already saw their faces, and I was like, oh, that's it. We're done. Did 7 games without scoring.
Yeah.
7 games.
It's not possible.
It's ridiculous.
They're doing something because they don't want the coach, or they are in disagree with some.
Some ideology from the coach. I mean that's what they say. That's what happened with Carlos Queiroz. I mean, they had a locker room revolution and got that guy out of there. I mean, we kind of
la camita.
And in those
Queiroz
two,
was my boy.
And in those 2 games, the team looks like the team that was fielded yesterday against Argentina. They look passive. They look like they don't know what they're doing, like losing interest just in the game.
But we scored. But they scored.
Huh?
But they scored.
Yeah. So
no, I'm just playing. But I know we discussed James, and I want to touch this because I saw a lot of slander online, and I wanted to get you guys' opinion. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of Cuadrado?
No, he stays 100%. Whether or not he played well yesterday, I think he's the only person that has experience and actually is a really good player and actually puts kind of that heart into the team and kind of sustains that midfield. Whether or not he didn't play well, nobody played well yesterday. We can't even point fingers to nobody. Okay, he's the only one. God bless his soul, y milagro, because he's still iffy. And that's another problem. We don't have a good goalie. That's so bad. We don't have like a top-notch goalie. Like that happened on Friday. That's upsetting. No goalie would ever do that. That was bad.
What's happening with David is kind of, suspicious. He's coming off an injury. Okay, I guess that the goal against Peru is whatever. But then he gets he's out because of intoxication, because of stomach issues. So literalmente se cagó.
Wait. I want to go back.
I didn't know about that. I thought it was an injury.
I want to go back. I want to go back to Cuadrado. I want to go back to Cuadrado because see, look, everyone's starting to comment.
I think Cuadrado is a referente that Reinaldo tried to build his team on. In Copa America, he was always the guy with the armband, always the go-to guy in Copa America. I don't know what the hell happened from Copa America Cuadrado to this Cuadrado. loss of confidence. But even then, like in Juve, he still has the.
I think
No,
it's the coach. I think it's the
that's
coach.
It's the
that's
coach.
that's it's a team thing. Like
Yeah,
when you
I
have
completely
like
agree with that.
a squad, like for example, let's go to this example, Argentina. I don't know if you watched the games of Argentina in the last qualifiers and in Russia, but I'm telling you this: Argentina went to do a scandal precipitation in Russia. Like they weren't the best team that they can be. They weren't a team. They don't have a coach. They don't have a leader. Even with Messi there and another player like Mascherano and other names like that. And what's happened when you don't have a team, even the best player ever, Messi scored 3 goals against Ecuador, and he put us on the World Cup. That's what I told the other day, I think, to Felipe, like different between this Colombia today and that Argentina in the last qualifier was Argentina have a Messi.
Yeah, no,
Something magic, scored 3 goals in here, and he put us in the World Cup.
yeah.
But then you go there and they don't play to nothing. Like you can't expect that. You can't complain about Cuadrado. I think he's the best player Colombia has today.
I completely agree with that. It's hard to blame Cuadrado, in my opinion, because he started playing in the middle, then in the 4-3-3, then you put him back out wide, then you put him back out right back. I mean, what is he supposed to do? How do you?
Which position he played in Juventus?
Cuadrado played 3 positions literally last night.
Yeah.
In Juventus.
So
what
Juventus, he plays a right back. In Juventus, he plays a right back.
A right back.
A right back mostly. Sometimes
I
they put him up forward.
They
However,
put him forward.
in
it's like
Colombia,
Lisandro Martinez in Argentina. He's a center back. When you don't have another center mid, he jump in the middle. He's the last resort. Here, Colombia, Rueda took him as a first option. That's
when we have two strong right backs, we have
because
Stefan Medina.
The 3 midfielders the other day were the starting ones. Wilmar Barrios, Uribe, and Cuadrado.
But Cuadrado should have never played in the middle.
But they were playing like that in Copa America. That's the thing. Like I think he needs to look at a little bit harder and try to find another center mid and put Cuadrado in his actual position.
Yeah. I think that if he can balance both positions, maybe he can make it. But again, we're talking about him playing in Juventus with a different type of team. We're talking about top class players. Like even if Juventus has been in, well, they do, but I don't feel like they communicate and they don't know each other.
Yeah, but Argentina.
But I hate using that excuse. But something about that field when they play, they just don't click. But I feel like Argentina have that connection. They somewhat know each other. But Colombia just looks so lost. They don't work together. They've been working in
this team for the last 10 months, 11 months.
So yeah, so that's the same advantage.
25, 30 players. Not like calling 50, 60 like they've been doing for the last 10 years. Since Scaloni come here, he cleaned up some names, big names. Higuain, I don't say like little players. I'm talking about world top class players. Higuain, Mascherano, I don't know, like Sergio Romero, the goalkeeper. Like I'm talking like position really, really vitals, important positions when you talking about like start to building a team. So if Colombia is gonna start with that, I think they need to start thinking about, okay, I told Ron a lot of times, why Carrascal is not in the call-up? Why Carrascal is not playing in the national team? He was playing in the young national team. He playing the best teams in South America right now with the best system, dynamic, speed, passes, control, possession, everything. And he's still calling James Rodriguez, who is playing in Arabia, I don't know, in Qatar, I don't know where he's playing right now.
That's what I've been saying for the past, 5 episodes, man. Colombia does not trust its young players. Colombia does not believe in its own process. These players who had a great showing in the Suramericano in 2020, Atuesta, Carrascal, I think Cuesta was part of the team. Now he's being called up.
I don't know Atuesta who's not playing.
Hey,
I mean,
but-
look at Ecuador, but look at Ecuador. Ecuador also cleaned up their team, and look at where they are. They're all young players from La Sub-20 that went far and beat the United States and got to, I think, semifinals or quarterfinals. And look at them. They're better than what we have, and they're all young players. So you're right. I absolutely agree with you. They need to clean up. I actually had this conversation with my dad yesterday, and he's like, Reinaldo Rueda, he's got to go, and they need to clean up that. He even told me, he's like, James, ¿para qué está James ahí? Like, my dad, our dads all have been watching soccer from like more than us. So for him to say that, I was like, wow, maybe
But
you're right.
It's also what I've been saying though. Yeah, it's like with Rueda, it's not even about young or old. There's no what?
Que Carrascal good enough for Gallardo, but not Rueda.
For real. No, but it's kind of like with Rueda, it's old, young. Who's James's creative backup? Other if Quintero is not there. Yo, he doesn't call anybody.
I prefer Quintero before.
No, me too. But
100%.
But I'm just saying,
And
like, Quintero's not there. Who's the backup? Who's the 10? Who's the creator? Like, llamame a Cardona, something. Llamame a Teo Gutierrez.
Oh,
bro.
no. Teo, I would take Teo.
So you'd rather have Borré? Exactly,
I'll
but
take Teo
somebody
over
call
Cardona
somebody.
every day.
That's the problem.
There's nobody.
Danny, when you don't have nobody, you don't need to go back to the same shape you've been using before. You need
But
to
at least bring me something.
Take risk and look for something new.
Yeah, but he doesn't even.
For example, if you see Scaloni, Julian Alvarez, he's 20 years old. He's good? Yeah, he's good. He proved himself? Yeah, he proved himself. But he's not a starter. And he's every single call-up from the national team, he's there. And he don't even play. Lautaro Martinez is the starting one. But Julian Alvarez is the second one behind him. Dybala is not playing.
But Dybala's not.
I really believe Dybala is not going to the World Cup.
He's not.
I really believe Dybala is not going to the World Cup. And you say Dybala, he's young, 26, 27, he's playing in Juventus and everything, blah, blah, blah. But
it doesn't
Here's the difference, though. Here's the difference. Argentina has the luxury. Don't sell me that crap. Don't sell me that crap. Colombia, Nico,
look,
listen to this. Listen to me.
In South America are top quality teams.
Okay, listen to me though. You mentioned who's in front of Dybala, and you just mentioned all these players that have the possibility. Okay, bro, those are great players.
It's not another striker.
Okay, listen to me. They're on the lineup. Who do we have to cover James? Don't worry, I'll wait.
Carrascal.
Exactly. No, I agree.
But Nico, what I'm trying to say is like you're comparing Messi. Okay, Dybala is Messi's backup, right? But Dybala is Dybala.
Dybala is a striker. Dybala is not a Messi's backup.
Okay, look, listen to me. Is Dybala in the list?
I think Dybala is not going to the World Cup.
I know. Listen to me. But Dybala is still on the bench. He's still winning the game.
If right now, called up, he's not there.
Listen. I know, but I'm talking about Colombia. Listen, I'm talking about Colombia, Nico.
Okay.
Right now, James on the bench doesn't have anybody to put in. I know you mentioned Carrascal, and I completely agree. Other than Carrascal, even if it's not Carrascal, forget about Carrascal. There's nobody there, even right now, to cover for James.
I'm sorry, I don't do my homework, but if you give me 1 week, I can look for players, and I can tell you 5 different players.
Me too. That's my problem with Rueda. This is where I'm getting. That's the problem.
This is the thing. Like the national team's coach don't have any restrictions. He don't need to discuss contract. He don't need to discuss money. He don't need to discuss traveling. He don't need to discuss anything. He just need to grab the phone and say, "I want you in the national team." I only met one player in all the years I saw soccer who don't want to go to the national team. I was Carlos Vela, and I don't understand how, but he don't want to do it. Like
we
that
gotta
kind
clarify.
of there.
We gotta clarify for Red Blue
to go to the national team. More in South America.
I want to clarify for Blackboard. Yes, we don't need a James type player, but we do need creative players. Not James type player. We don't have creative players other than James on that list that could have played last night.
in South America, you have Brazil and Argentina. They were in another step, like in another quality. Let's say this because the variety of kind of play of the how many players they can color up, being playing in the best quality teams in the world. Okay. In the next step, in the step 2, you have Uruguay, Colombia, and you want to put Chile if you want, because for me Chile is not there. But I think Colombia and Uruguay are the only 2 teams. And Uruguay is struggling the same way as Colombia. The difference is, I think, it's not because they don't have the players. It's because they don't find the coach. Scaloni wasn't a coach before his first experience as a coach is the national team. And look what he's doing. He's thinking outside the line. He's thinking outside the square.
I'm glad you brought up Uruguay. I'm glad you brought up Uruguay, though.
Before you even go to Uruguay, you guys forgot that
Uruguay is not playing better, because if you see name by name in Uruguay team, dude.
Yes, but Uruguay also changed coaches 2 games ago when they hadn't win. And as soon as they changed coach, they won 2 games. And now, as of now, they're in.
Yeah.
But you know what happened there? Same shit as ever. We, as a South Americans, we are too old school. Like, it's the famous Garra Charrua. Uruguay had to go hit players, go hard, play like and that's not maybe you need to change a little bit and be more like elegant to play. Like, instead to make Valverde kick somebody, make him make a nutmeg, play in 2 touches, play quickly, play different, put 3 strikers, I don't know. But when you try to change the DNA of a team, sometimes people reject that. If what's happening is tomorrow come a coach in Colombia and he want to play with 3 in the back, what you gonna say about it? Oh, this guy is crazy, he's playing 3 in the back.
But it's his project.
You're gonna put 5 players on top, and they're gonna be like a Brazilian soccer. If you score me 3, I'm gonna score you 6. That's how it works sometimes.
Yeah, it's a lack of project that Colombia has, right?
There's also no confidence. There's no confidence either from the coach, and that's why they go out scared. They didn't show any physicality. They didn't go out there with any roughness, knowing that you're like playing against Argentina. They look like little kids, like all scared. And you're right. There needs to be a change. We do have the players, but we just don't have the coach. He has not created that group that he needs to take. That happened to Greg Berhalter with USA. And yes, it took him a while, but now he kind of has like, all right, these are the 11 players I'm playing with. And look, it has succeeded. Did they beat Canada? No, but they were playing well. What Colombia did yesterday was not well. He is still unsure with who he needs to take.
Rueda lost the locker room.
He lost it.
Whenever it happened,
100%. And why are we bringing somebody? But he's playing. But this is the thing that I don't understand. Why are we bringing a coach that we had years back and bringing him back? Well, you guys thought that he was going to change and be like this great coach. Yes, he did well in the teams that he coached throughout the years till now. But I don't think he was the best, like Ashburn, like the option. Like, what is this, the behind the desk going on in the federation? Something they need to go on the hacer una listica and figure out which coach will fit. Pero Rueda otra vez, like.
So the question is, the question is, Rueda out?
Absolutely.
What does everyone think? Everyone think on the comments? Rueda out?
After the last 2 games, I'm surprised how the Colombian people don't kill somebody from that team. I don't know why.
Rueda, I mean, do you fire him now? Do you wait until the last 2 qualifiers, or?
No, I think at this point they need to now. They don't need to think about a Qatar. Now they just have to think about the future, because there's no future to being there in November. Like, let's be honest, that's the reality. Those 2 next games are not going to save them for much. It has to be a miracle, but even with that miracle, it's not going to work. This is a long run. This is for probably the 2026 USA, Mexico, and Canada World Cup. Not
what's happened
Qatar.
if Colombia win the last 2 games and go to the World Cup?
No, it's going to be like Argentina at the 2018 World Cup, except we don't have Messi.
Same.
So.
What are
Es
you
una
doing?
It's gonna be the
vergüenza.
same drama. It's gonna be
Rueda,
the same drama. It's gonna be
you
the
kick out Rueda and bring another coach who have to work like 4 months before the World Cup, or you let Rueda to go
Haga
kill
lo que le dé la
yourself.
gana.
So Rueda out, Parceros United in. If it's up to me, if they let in Parceros United in, honestly, right now he's got to go. We got 2 more games. There is a small mathematical chance that we might go in. At least bring the interim. If you don't want to bring
get that spark.
if you don't want to bring a permanent coach, bring an interim, ignite some type of motivation. 1 second, invite some type of motivation.
Scaloni was an interim coach.
Huh?
Mhm.
Scaloni?
Scaloni
Yeah.
was an interim coach.
There you
He
go.
was.
Bring an interim. You
He
know,
was
you get
assistant in the
it gets
sub
people
20.
it gets people thinking, it gets other coaches thinking, oh, that job opening, it's kind of good, blah, blah, blah. But at least we need something. Rea's not it. We already know he's not it. He's not it. We need a change of scenery for the boys, for the players. They need something new, ignite, spark, something that can get us. Yo, right now, we are unsure. This is how bad it is. Like, it's crazy. We are unsure that we will not beat Bolivia at home
I don't think we
and
will.
Venezuela.
Venezuela,
We
no.
are unsure.
Venezuela,
For
absolutely
the first
not.
time in the history, this is how it's so bad. For the first time that I've been alive in the history, since I've been alive,
So a long time.
a
It's
long
been
time, but still, since I've been alive, this is the first time that I could say we might not beat Paraguay, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia at home. Yo, and we still, and this coach is still in charge. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come
And
on.
Bolivia have chance to go to the World Cup yet.
We're playing them at home. So it's like the elevation there is crazy already. Like we already that's a disadvantage for all players most of the time. That's one. And then 2, Venezuela. We're playing against Beckerman. Like that's our old coach. And he's gonna want to bring that I don't know, that energy. Like that man is something else.
Beckerman knows this Colombia better than Reinaldo.
Better than anyone else.
Now Peckerman don't sound so bad, no?
Danny?
I didn't like Beckerman.
Danny?
I don't like
doesn't
Beckerman.
sound so bad now, no?
I didn't like Beckerman. He was a great motivator in 2014. He was a great he knew how to pick a good call up, but he did not make adjustments during the game at all. He didn't. He wasn't good at
Oh,
making
But
would
he's
have
way
Peckerman
better than Rueda.
would have Peckerman qualified this team or no? Would he have
Absolutely.
scored at least a couple goals?
Absolutely.
because everything happened in Colombia. Somehow we're still mathematically able to make it, even though we haven't scored in the past how many games, and somehow we're still able. We didn't beat,
which is a record now.
We didn't beat Ecuador, Peru, Paraguay at home, and somehow we could still make it, bro. It's unbelievable. Yes, anybody. I think Kato's would have made it, bro. You think?
Danny, look. If Argentina went to Russia, everything can happen, man. I see Alario play in the right midfielder. You know who is Alario.
But Argentina has Messi, man. And
it's like but this is the thing. It's like if I grab
we already talked about
like a fullback, like a right.
Dybala might not go.
They've been doing that kind of stuff.
Quien ofrece Dybala, bro. Pues
bro, Nico, you cannot have that luxury. You're telling me Dybala might not go, bro. Yeah, I know we have Jacet Asprilla, but bro, Jacet is no Dybala.
I understand
I'm sorry.
the message that nothing is impossible.
Argentina
There's still
there's 100%.
Argentina have more options than Colombia. That's true, but to Russia he went Christian Pavón, Enzo Pérez, Mesa, the player from Independiente,
Monterrey,
and he's still on the national team playing in Mexico.
That's the first time he came back in since. Why did they bring him back? That's the first time they bring him up since 2018.
Yeah, because he's playing good in the system that Scaloni wants to play. He's good. He's that box-to-box midfielder who can help you in defense and help you in attacking midfield. But that's the thing. Like Colombia needs, first of all, figure out what he's going to do in the field, like how they're gonna play. If they're gonna have, because you can go to play against Argentina. Like this situation, like you are almost out of the World Cup, and you can go play against Argentina, testing players with a second team and go and wait to see what happened with the players.
No, he literally, the guy that cannot
50
make
million
adjustments,
euros for Diaz,
he
Liverpool paid.
cannot,
And you go
bro.
to wait what happened.
He
Go,
cannot make
go.
adjustments, and he goes to start the game to wait and make an adjustment.
Danny, I prefer being out of the World Cup, losing the game, if I go in for it. No, that way. That was a scandal what they do in the field of the day. Like,
Yeah,
what's-
I don't want
I don't know
to. I
how
would
they
be
don't feel
more.
shame.
It's gross.
to be on the
I'm
field.
more embarrassed of going to a World Cup with this team or going into this World Cup. Already,
But
the World Cup.
I'd rather be embarrassed though.
Yeah,
I'd rather be
but-
embarrassed.
No, I know.
I'd rather be there.
Don't.
Yeah, I'd rather be.
don't.
I'll be embarrassed with
You
you.
know
I'd
what
rather
happened.
be.
I want to be embarrassed
When the
by
World
in
Cup
Qatar.
start, when the World Cup
I don't
starts,
wanna
it's
be
like
in-
completely different tournament. Like everything can happen there. Everything.
I want to be like this, my hat down, but in Qatar. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
Kind of with a nice guado drink, like crying. That's what you want. That's what you want. No, that's
I got the
water.
water too
No,
here
that's
ready to go.
water. No, that's
I was about
water.
to say, I was like,
That's
damn.
water.
But it was at a perfect side, like, I was like,
Question.
That
First of
wouldn't
all,
be
I have
guado.
a
That would be
question
more like whiskey.
I have a question
No,
for Colombian people. I
That's
think one of the really big factors in this process for the national team, uh, the Colombian soccer in Colombia, I think it suffered a really, really hard time. Like,
terrible.
that's an example that I was talking with Felipe the other day. We've been having a conversation really long about it, but Argentina, when they before Russia, Argentina was in a really dark place in the local soccer. Don't have any young players, prospects, or even the teams were playing. Even Boca Juniors don't playing well. River Plate have it's not this River Plate that
It was
you
just
have
starting.
right now.
Just starting.
So when you have a coach like Gallardo in Argentina in the local soccer, they make the other teams start to play better. Like, even for example, you have a Talleres player. I don't remember his name, but Baloyes.
which I think played well.
You see that kid? I saw him play in Talleres. That kind of players make you a better team, make you play better. And he's young. He's a prospect, for example. But that's what I've been talking with Felipe about it. The local soccer in Colombia don't give anything to the national team right now. Like, I think that the job starts there first
We could
to
have
start thinking about international collabs. I don't know. I think it's a process and it's gonna take time. But I think Colombia needs to start to think about further than Qatar.
I believe it because the level in Colombia is terrible. I mean, you look at this last Libertadores, Santa Fe went to El Monumental to play River Plate. River Plate was fielding 10 players, a goalkeeper that's a midfielder with an injury, and they lost. They lost to River Plate, bro. Like, it's ridiculous. Colombia doesn't have a third division. Colombia in the last couple of years has been like the first team to be kicked out of Libertadores. There's no top level Colombian coach in the world.
No.
And you compare that to other countries like, say, Uruguay, who has Diego Alonso, or say Argentina, who has plenty, or Brazil even.
Yeah.
So it's bad. It's bad to see. It starts with the local league, like you said. It starts in Colombia and starting to build that process, which we got to look towards 2026.
It's just sad because they sorry to cut you off. They start developing good players, and then what do? They just sell them out. They send them to Mexico. They send them to Argentina. They start selling them to all over the place, and they don't keep them long. And that's a problem too. Instead of really like keeping them and developing these teams, they're like, no, let's just spend the money and we get more money. And it shouldn't be that way. Keep them there as long as you can to build them and then send them out. But no, the first thing they do is like the first year they see somebody good, they're already scouting them and they keep them out, and they'll rather have the money than actually develop more of the kids with that one player. Once you have a good player, you can keep going and it just digresses there and increases, but that's not happening. I don't even watch Colombian soccer, to be honest. The only reason why I know about it is because of my dad, but because it's not good. I've watched like highlights, and I'm just like, this is amateur soccer. This is very sad.
I'm
It's
talking
so
about
sad.
It's hard for
2015. I'm talking
Yeah.
about since 2015.
No, this is not just yesterday. This is a long time now.
Field, and it's really hard to the Colombian teams compete about the money thing. I can compare. I don't have the actual facts and the actual examples to do it in the Colombia soccer, but if you see in Argentina, for example, teams like River Plate, they have players like Nico de la Cruz, he's Uruguayan. You have Julian Alvarez, you have Enzo Perez, you have Carrascal, you have
young
Barco.
internationals.
Palavecino.
But they are new.
Young internationals.
I don't.
Montiel.
I tried to say Montiel. But you have that kind of players between 22, 20, and 25 years old. So they are in his prime, and they choose stay in River Plate because they have offers. Montiel had 3 offers. He denied 3 offers before he left to Sevilla. Julian Alvarez, he been playing for 3 years in River Plate. When now Manchester City come and say, okay, we take it. And then you have these kind of players, and it's really hard when you don't have anything to offer them, because River Plate is
no reason for him to. Right, in Colombia they don't have any.
Let me give you a perfect example. Let me give you a perfect example. Deportivo Cali just became champions. They built out of nowhere a decent team that all Colombians were, or at least the Deportivo Cali fans were like, okay, we have a good mixture of young and experience to go to la Copa Libertadores. We were champions. We just started the season into our 4th game. We're almost in last place. Why? Because we sold.
That's what I'm saying. Because they only care about the money. We all know the at least the, I guess, 3-4 top teams that have money but can't seem to sustain their players is Cali. They have money because I grew up being Caleña, and then my grandfather played for El America, and between them two, El Cali always had more money. And then Nacional also, because I've heard stories about their academy and everything, but it's still not good enough. And Nacional used to create really good players, and Medellin too, y Cali, in America, Millonarios, like these top teams in Colombia that have so much rich history don't create good players anymore, or they just sell them because they prefer the money over anything.
We just sell them, and we don't renew. We don't bring anything back. Like we don't buy to bring. We don't.
No, they don't even loan them. You know what Liverpool does, and I do like what they do, is that they loan their players to teams like Bournemouth, who are in the championship, for them to develop. So when the moment comes, they're actually better because they're getting the experience. They're actually playing time. So I wish there could be something like that, but there isn't even that because there's no money in Colombia.
Correct. There's money. There's money.
There might be money.
There's money.
We are talking.
It's hidden somewhere.
Like Liverpool loan their players. Like that's a good example. The thing with that is Liverpool have 50 players in his staff. Right. So the thing is they only can have like 28, 30 legally in his list to play the Premier League and all the tournaments they play. Yeah. So they have to release that player. So they don't want to lose that players. So they send them to other teams. The thing in South America is if you have a player good enough, you put in your team. You don't send it out. Like, for example, even River Plate, who have a lot of... Right now, River Plate, you see the squad that River Plate have right now. I think he have 2 or 3 players for each position, top quality in South America, top quality. Mm-hmm. And they don't going to release that players because that happened last year. Gallardo played with 22, 24 players, and he ended with Enzo Perez in a goal playing against Santa Fe. So that's another thing. Like, you need to be prepared to play like if you are one of the big like Cali or that
One of the
that
big.
quality of team, you need to be ready.
Gigantes toda la vida.
No, no
You
es
need
Cali,
to
no es
be
Cali.
ready.
Está
Si lo
equivocado.
dice el argentino, es por ahí.
But
Está de-
Si lo
that's
dice
what I
Nico, es
mean.
por
Like,
ahí.
you need to be
Cali,
ready
Cali.
to play 2 or 3 tournaments because you have the league in Colombia, the cup in Colombia,
Shout out to Tato.
and the Sudamericana or Libertadores. And you can play with 20 players only because you can play like 2 or 3 games in a week or 2 games in a week, different than in Europe, no? But here you have to think in that. And if you don't have something to offer the players who like they need to want to stay, and I'm not talking about money because River Plate can pay more money than Manchester City, for example. So Julian Alvarez want to stay because he want to compete here. He want to defend River Plate's colors. He want to win another Libertadores.
He wants to learn from Gallardo.
Like, you want to play for Gallardo. Exactly. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, you need to offer them like a challenge because sometimes money is not enough for the players. Sometimes they need a challenge. And I think that's what's happened right now in the Colombian soccer. And it's something like it's really, really hard to fix to one day for another. Takes time, years, process. Like,
so my question is now, we have 2 games left. Mathematically, there's something there. Technically, now we have Chile, Uruguay, Peru in front. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that, they're not going to fire Rueda. Rueda's going to stay for the last 2 games, and they're going to play to the same thing they've been playing, to nothing, being passive. I mean, maybe against playing at home in Barranquilla against Bolivia, we see the same planteo we saw against Peru, and maybe we get a goal, maybe we don't. Either way, it's going to be frustrating to see because, Bolivia is obviously they have the tape from the Peru game, and they're going to sit back. They're going to sit back and frustrate Colombia. And
from
Venezuela,
the Peru, from the Ecuador, from the Paraguay.
Yeah. So it's an easy task for Bolivia. I mean, they got their work cut out is to play a low block and defend.
Can I do a question? Huh? You think this is 100% Rueda's responsibility?
Oh
no!
It goes to the top.
It goes way before that.
But my question is, like, as a Colombian, you need to be motivated to go to play and try to qualify for the World Cup. I'm talking about the players. Like, if I be Falcao, for example, I get into the locker room and I kick somebody's ass. So, dude, you go into the field, okay, kill somebody, death. That's what you need to do. Like, you don't need to be.
We don't condone violence on this podcast.
Yeah, we don't. He's Argentinian.
You need to be motivated.
But yeah, I get your point. They need to be motivated. They need to show this hunger at least. But they've been way too passive. I don't think we don't. I don't think anything changes. I don't think it changes. I think he calls up the same players and we see the same. I mean, if we don't see James or we don't see some of these big players come, it's because there's a real change in the locker room. I don't know, coming from Rueda.
Because you played against Bolivia and Venezuela. If you ask me, I prefer take all 11 players from Colombia, from the local soccer. Give it a chance. At least they're gonna try to prove themselves that they deserve the chance to go. Yeah,
man.
They want to go.
I agree.
Or even some players from Mexico who are playing in La Liga Mexicana. They are very good. They're better than what I saw on yesterday. Like, they actually are hungry.
They have who's his name?
Juan Vergara. He just got
no.
In Brazil.
Decision.
Yeah.
He's playing for Leon.
Yeah, he just played yesterday, but he played center back, and
he barely played. I mean,
he barely saw the ball.
But I mean, it's what Rebler said. Like, there's no plan though. You know what I mean? So you can call whoever you want, but it's hard when
there's no plan. There's no motivation. I don't think Rueda goes back to that.
I think the players even
sits down and he's like, the reason why get together. No,
the reason why the players
passive.
The reason why the players aren't motivated is because they know they have to go out and not attack.
Passion is not negotiable, Danny. Passion is not negotiable. heard
And
this
I don't
number.
think,
But see,
and
that's
he
the
doesn't
difference.
show that
He's
either.
the
Look,
one over
you
there.
remember how you at the beginning you mentioned Uruguay and La Garra, blah blah blah. That's the difference.
If
Yes,
you can
that's
play
what they
good,
have.
if you can play good, okay, play hard.
Exactly.
That's
But
how
at
it
least they
works.
have Garra. We don't have that, man. We don't.
No.
Exactly.
We
That's
don't.
what Nico's saying. They don't have it. They go out there and they're not even, I don't know, take everything that your emotions out on that field, but you don't even see that. No están sudando esa camiseta. Like I don't even
Really?
think like a little bit came out on yesterday. And it's ridiculous. I don't think that coach even aspires that when he's probably giving them the speech, because it even goes back there. I don't know if you guys ever seen the little mini clips from Man City when Pep is giving them the pep talk, basically. That's so ironic. Pep talk, Pep, get it? But the pep talk, and if I had a coach like that, best believe I'm gonna be out there playing my heart out. When someone like that is screaming at me and telling me we need to get this together. But again, it's another type of coach.
Some coaches are
again-
more motivators than they are tacticians.
Like Peckerman.
Like Beckerman or Queiroz, who's more of a tactician than he is a motivator. Reda is neither of those. So, we're screwed. So I get what Nico's saying. If you can't, we don't have a plan. So since we don't have a plan, all we can resort to is, garra, berraquera, and that, trying that passion on the field.
We struggled with that when we went to Russia. We struggled with that. We have San Paolo. I don't think everybody tells me it's like, oh, San Paolo is good. Every club, every national team he coach have a good develop. They play well. I think he suck. I don't think he's a good coach. I don't like him. I never liked him. So that's anything's gonna change my mind about that. When we went to Russia, in the locker room, were a lot of problems. Like you have Messi, Mascherano, Agüero, Enzo Perez, Otamendi, Sergio Romero, all players, top quality. Argentina don't play shit that tournament, nothing. We have Messi, but still, we don't play anything. Mascherano was the one who stand up and say, because some people talk about it, and this is something that anybody knows in the media, and that he stand up and say, like, if the coach is not going to do his job, at least we need to do ours. We need to go in, play hard, try to do our best, because nobody is getting paid here. Like, national team is a national team. You play for this. You don't play for this. That's the difference between a team and between a national team. If you are there, if you are called up to go and play there, you need to be motivated by a coach. I don't. If the coach tell me like you need to go and make an own goal, I'm gonna say fuck you. I'm not gonna do that. I go forward.
The problem is Colombia doesn't have a Mascherano, someone that motivates in the locker room. I don't think there's a locker room present.
But that's what Asprilla said. That's exactly what Asprilla said.
If we had it,
it's not
we would've seen
working
it by now.
out. He said if it's not working out with the coach, then the team itself should figure it out. Be like, if we don't like what's going on, we should come together and show out there what we have. But there's not even that.
If you think that, and that's true, none of that players should be called again. None of them.
I don't know. I think
any of them. I prefer go and play with the second team from Colombia local soccer before going.
Papi, Theo. We should have called out Theo. I've been saying it forever.
Marica, déjala, güey.
No, my dad.
I can't wait for these qualifiers to be over so Danny can stop mentioning Theo.
No, he's 100%.
Theo will do something, man.
My dad even said it.
Theo will do something.
My dad, that is un americano morir, mejor dicho, se corta las venas por el América. He told me, he was like, they should have called Theo. Why? Because he has garras. A ese man no le importa quien le pegue, but he goes and he's in it to win it. And we need someone like that. There's not one person on that field to be like that. And I think he would be prideful to come back. But none of these guys are. I don't know what they're thinking. Are they not like happy to be playing for the country? Like what needs to spark in them? Like they said, they're like blocked. It's going to be like a blindfold on them.
You think the Colombia Federation is ready to have a foreign coach,
a foreign
not
coach?
a Colombian coach?
Of
Because
course,
I think
I think they need it.
I
Absolutely.
think it's what they need right now. Like
The
Un
level of
Vizela,
Colombian coaches
absolutely.
is way too low. I mean, we said on the space last night that Colombia needs a foreign coach. Someone in
Like
the
a
chat,
Gareca, like.
someone
Need a Gareca, like.
in the chat earlier mentioned Oscar Pareja. I don't think Oscar Pareja, coming from MLS, I think they would kill him in the media in
Bielsa.
Colombia, even though his
Right.
ideas could be okay. But I think a foreign coach, I think a coach from Brazil or Argentina,
Gareca, man. A Gareca will be.
Gareca, a
Nah,
Peckerman,
I would love to
No,
see the
bro.
Leeds
I'm
coach
done with
in la
Peckerman.
selección.
Matias
think-
Bielsa.
Almeida.
Bielsa.
I think I go more to that side, Ron. I think
Bielsa.
Colombia
Bielsa.
No, llega.
I think Colombia don't need.
No,
forget
pues si
about
vamos a traer el
it.
muñeco, let's bring Pep.
I think Colombia
club.
need more a coach more decide to like Coudet, Almeida.
Herman Crespo.
Not that much. He's more tactical, but I'm talking about more like bloody, more like I don't know how to describe this, but
Colombia would say berraco que le mete
Like
huevos.
más
Berraquera.
discipline, como con más berraquera.
Some coach with a lot of personality who when you get into the locker room and you have a
Papi,
Cuadrado,
llega
or you
la
have a
rompe, mejor que
Falcao, or
Messi.
you have a James Rodriguez who say, I don't want to play in this position. I say, fuck you.
Okay,
bitch,
ciao.
my team. Something like that, like more hard work, more like I don't know how to describe it, but we understand the idea.
Yeah,
Like,
He doesn't take
someone that has more
bullshit.
discipline.
Hey,
Yeah, that is true. Someone
Gabriel
doesn't take
Heinze.
bullshit.
I don't think Columbus ready for that. But
The dream would be Muñeco. El Muñeco Gallardo, that would
Ah,
be.
pero él mandó
Gallardo,
un caer en
I
día, güey.
think Gallardo don't leave River Plate. I think Gallardo is not leaving River Plate till the next
You
year.
hope,
And
you
if
hope.
he leave, he go to Europe. I don't think he's going to.
You don't think
grab
he's for a
any
national team?
He's not going to grab any national team right now. I don't think so. I think he's ready to go to have his European experience, and I think after that he's going to. I think it's the Scaloni successor, but let's see how Scaloni.
Yeah, goes on.
I hope he win the World Cup. I don't know, but I'm telling you right now. For example, Eduardo Coudet. I don't know if you know them, but he's a really good coach, and he's really badass, man. I have to tell you that.
Oh, wasn't he the assistant of someone?
He was coaching Rosario Central when he played the semifinal against Nacional. They fight.
Yeah. Where Armani had that crazy triple save. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's a really good coach, tactical. He's a aggressive coach. He like press, high pressure. He like go for it. He don't like wait to see what happened. Like he tried to be more protagonist of the games. Yeah.
Right. But yeah. To wrap up, let's get some score predictions for the next qualifiers. They're in a month. Actually,
I'm not gonna give you no score.
No?
Nah, bro.
It's too early.
I'm gonna take the whole month off, bro.
Actually, okay, let's not get into score predictions, but let's get into probability of Colombia getting to the World Cup. Colombia needs Peru to
lose out.
That's the thing.
Twice.
They depend on another results.
They need twice
to,
or draw
that's the
once
worst
and lose
part.
another one, or Uruguay to lose out. So
I'll tell you guys right now, I don't see Peru losing the last game at home versus Paraguay.
No.
Because Paraguay, they're not doing well. They have nothing.
Everything's a surprise. You know, Paraguay in 2017 in the qualifier for 2018, they needed a win in last place Venezuela, and they lost. They lost, and Venezuela's already eliminated. Paraguay is fighting for that 4th, 5th place spot. So anything can happen. No estoy montado, pero bro, like it can happen.
I think. I'm sorry, guys, but I think it's gonna be Brazil and Argentina while they were in, but I think Ecuador is gonna make it.
Oh yeah, they already made it for sure.
And I think Uruguay and Peru they're gonna be there because it's like sometimes soccer is moments, and I think right now they coming up. And
they're both going up.
Uruguay grabbed this new air in the team, and you can see it the other day against Venezuela. They were massive. Like, they
4-1.
killed them. Venezuela don't have any chance about it.
But yeah, man.
Peru. On the other hand, Peru is
playing well,
believing.
man.
Peru,
Peru is consistent.
Gareca's system. They believe in the coach. It's if someone's out, he plugs somebody else in, and it's like nothing happened, man. They were missing key players,
and they have some players in their right moment with the right mentality, positive.
Flores just keeps
Flores.
getting
I think
big
Flores
and big.
is like this to go to Boca Juniors, and they have good players right now.
Tata
Martino from Mexico. Maybe.
No, I don't know.
I don't know if I want that.
You
I
know,
mean, he's a good
It'll be
option,
better than Rueda. It'll be better than Rueda.
and he has
That's
more. And he
that's
has
an
more
example, man.
personality, and he has more personality than
has more
any
personality
other
than
coach that I can know in Colombia.
And
I've
experience.
I've interviewed him, and you can tell from the way he expresses himself to the way he goes out there and coaches. You know how he did it with Atlanta United, and now with Mexico. Yes, they lost 2 big tournaments in the summer, but you know he's still there, whether or not. But
it's going to depend. If
I like
Mexico
him.
go or not to the World Cup. If Mexico,
No,
the World Cup,
Tata won't come.
Yeah,
Tata won't come. Tata won't come because of la rosca. Because there's rosca inside, and you know he's not about that. He's not about that, so they're never gonna let him.
Yeah. Whatever they do, they got to give the keys to the manager, the keys of Colombia and the federation to the manager, because right now the federation is a mess. There's not even a third division Colombia. So
it's also the media.
Project that
Colombia is horrible.
That happened with Argentina too. And the thing is, when you bring a new coach with new ideas, with like I said before, he needs to think outside the square. Like Scaloni, they bring Scaloni. He don't have any experience as a coach. He always be assistant, or he was a Bielsa assistant.
That's why he's good.
In France. So when the people from Argentina, when they hired Scaloni, people say like, what the heck are they doing? Like, he can be a coach. He never coached a team or whatever. And I say, hold on, he have a good degrees. Like, in his experience, he worked with Bielsa. He worked with the young national teams with Aymar, Sorin, Samuel. Now they are his coach staff, and they are doing a really good job. And the first thing he do was clean some really hard names to clean, like Pipa, we don't need you anymore, thank you. Mache, we don't need you anymore, thank you. And a lot of people was complaining about it and telling me, what are they doing? The federation is crazy. And the federation say like, no, Scaloni, this is your thing. If you go in, if this is not working, it's gonna be your fault. And he say like, this is my responsibility. I'm gonna take care of it.
That's what you need. You need a younger mind. You need a younger staff. I was looking at the Colombia staff, and they're all old. There's nothing wrong with age, but you're right. We need something fresh like a fresh mind. This is a different era of soccer. It's not the same. Again, why are we bringing back someone that we knew that failed with Colombia years ago, bringing him now? I don't think he was going to have es una rosca. And then, mire Uruguay cambió. Why? Look, Uruguay tenía al profe Tavares for so many years. And yes, he's the most respected coach in South America. And I used to love his tactics, but it got to the point where we all knew how he played. And we had to take him out. First of all, he couldn't even sit normal. Like, he's already like in his 80s. He's not well. I'm sure he's not taking decisions by himself. He's taking decisions with other people. And it's hurtful to see someone, but it was time for him to go for something better. And look how it has, made the team better. And Uruguay is actually going to the World Cup.
What if somebody put something about Thierry Henry? Because this example is what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, Jairo, I don't know you, but that kind of stuff, you don't even name it. You need to go for a South American coach who have experience with South American players, who knows what it is play in a South American qualification tournament to the World Cup, who knows the players in South America, who knows, or at least play against Colombian teams, who knows the world around the Colombian national team.
Mhm.
For example, when I say Code, he's a brand new coach. He started coaching like 5 years ago. He just coaching in Argentina. Now he's in Spain. I think he's coaching in second division in Spain right now, and he's a coach who knows the struggling with the collapse, with the Libertadores, Sudamericana, that kind of tournament. Like they're really hard.
They're very unique. They all have their own
exactly.
specific
You need to
complications.
have some experience on that.
Right.
If you start calling names just for call names, that's not going to work for Colombia right now. I don't think that ever.
They need to buy. They need to buy into a serious project and have all their faith in that coach.
Yeah,
like we said.
Yeah, if you bring
Real
a coach,
quick,
give him the chance to prove himself.
Nicole mentioned Radamel and Danny, obviously Deportivo Cali fan. I want to know his thoughts on this real quick.
I personally won't go for Radamel because he is a motivator, but he's not a tactician.
No.
You know, he looks for, you know, the individual play, and that's how we just won the championship. But I think we need that mix of both, that young style that's a tactician, but also the motivating coach.
Yeah. Palacio says, you know, he Rueda did win in Libertadores Nacional, and I think I thought at first he was a good hire for that reason, because he knew the region, he knew the players in the region, like Nico was saying. But you know, they got to do, the federation has to do their proper search and know the project.
Rueda coach before the national team, no?
Yeah.
Rueda, sí.
Rueda coach before the
national
team.
2010.
For the 2010, before 2010 World Cup, yeah.
Before South Africa.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. He got the team. I think they were doing really bad, and then he brought him up almost to the point of qualification for 2010.
That's never worked in South America. Argentina tried to do the same thing with Basile, and it's not working. Like when you have a coach who already have his chance, it doesn't matter if he have success or don't have success. Mm-hmm. Like I'm talking about, you need to renew. You need to think different. Like, grab the list that you have right now and drop it and start to look it forward. Like, if Colombia don't start to think in that way, this is going to be like a round and round again and again and again and again. And
we're not going to qualify again. I think that's how it was for those 16 years that we didn't qualify. Andres says, can the federation afford to pay out 2 contracts? I'm not sure the details on the length of the contract for Rueda, but I imagine his goal was to get to the World Cup, and you know, if he didn't make it, then...
Well, there's always a buyout clause. There's always a loophole with those contracts. So you see how they sack when they sack coaches. There's always a loophole. There has to be something where it says, well, if you can't succeed for the World Cup, we can cut you out. There has to be a loophole. There's a buyout. There's something. Yeah.
Sampaoli get paid his full contract.
Really?
And that's fine.
Because he made it to the World Cup?
After what he does in the World Cup. Because in his contract say, like, if they fire him before the first year, they have to pay his entire contract. Argentina don't give a shit and say, like, dude, you suck. Get up.
And I know Queiroz's contract was like one of the biggest ones in South America when he came in, so it's good. I don't know.
I think he get paid like $8 million.
Like six or 8 or something like that, so I'll figure like that.
Yeah, Brian says another 16 years when I know another World Cup. I don't think I would. No. Here's the reason why we cannot compare the players that we had then after Valderrama, after Asprilla, Rincon, after they all retired. The players that led to that to the players that we have now. Look at the players that we have now. There's no excuse. Other than
I think Colombia has better. I think Colombia have better team right now than he have in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
Like if you go name by name in the Colombian national team, you can do a really good team.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I repeat, like I think the coach and the idea and the motivation of the players is is something that you can negotiate. Like you have to have it.
Hey, Antonio says 2026 is expanded to 7th place, may qualify. Bro, like next World Cup is here, so we're gonna be definitely at every game. But it sucks, man. Like this was a World Cup year. This is what I was looking forward to the past,
Yeah,
since the last World Cup.
let's see if the World Cup is gonna be every 2 years. They keep talking about.
No, it cannot.
Only the rich can afford that. You think I can go to the World Cup every 2 years unless I'm sent out? But
I don't like
story,
that because that's a discussion we have a
it,
few times with the guys. But I think if you do it every 2 years, lost
the essence. You ruin the essence of what the World Cup means.
Standards that what's going to happen to Euros, what's going to happen to Copa America, what's going to happen even for here in the United States, whether or not we don't care. The Gold Cup and the
vacation. Players are speaking out. They'll have no vacation. They have
no vacation. What happens to them? They get squeezed, and their careers will end even shorter. That's it.
Hey, we also have Pacheco, papi. We have Pacheco as well. Yeah, it was dark.
Those were dark periods.
Bro,
it was embarrassing to even wear a jersey.
No, pero bueno, parceros.
Thank you for
tuning in.
No, this is a Parceros take. I'm Parcero that. I'm a Parcero Dani.
Oh, snap. I'm a Parcero Run.
Joining us was Ingrid Rosas. Thank you, Ingrid, for joining us today. Consecutive times. We'll definitely have you on in the future. Nico, thank you for upping on. Your analysis was great. From outside to in.
Yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Antonio, Red Bluer 78, Brian, Julian, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Domi was
Domi was in too.
Domi. Y nada, aguante River, because we got a couple of River guys in the chat.
Like and subscribe, boys. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. You already know what's up.
Borja don't score, man.
End it, bro. End it.
All right, bro.
I want to say something. I do want Argentina to. We'll put him in timeout. I do want Argentina to win the World Cup, but I wouldn't mind if Divo gets injured. I just gotta say that. If he gets injured, I wouldn't mind it.
You told me the other day, like Argentina is the only country who think Diego Martinez is a good goalkeeper. Dude, you need to.
Bueno, nos vemos, parceros. En la buena.
En la buena, ahí. Perfecto.
Listo, parceros.